Hello buddy, welcome back to Filmflix. Today we're talking top 10 flicks that are so out of this world. Got some wild sci-fi stuff that'll make your brain do backflips, and space love stories that are honestly kinda adorable. So, ready to get your mind blown? Let's go!
But I'm still alive. Surprise.
The Martian is a movie about an astronaut named Mark Watney who gets left behind on Mars when his team has to leave quickly during a storm. They think he's dead, but he's actually alive. The movie shows how Mark tries to survive on Mars by himself. He has to figure out how to grow food, make water, and fix things that break. Meanwhile, back on Earth, NASA finds out Mark is alive and tries to help him. They work on ways to send him food and bring him home. Mark's crew also learns he's alive and wants to help. The movie goes back and forth between showing what Mark does on Mars and what people on Earth do to try to save him. There are problems and challenges along the way. Mark has to be clever to stay alive, and the people on Earth have to solve hard problems to rescue him. The movie is about space exploration, survival, and people working together to overcome big challenges. It shows a lot of science and problem solving, mixed with some funny moments as Mark tries to keep a good attitude. The story is mostly about whether Mark will make it back to Earth or not.
Lowering oxygen, more carbon dioxide.
That's beautiful. You finally a daddy. It's gonna be a big custody battle over this one.
Life is a movie about astronauts on the International Space Station who find the first proof of life beyond Earth. They discover a small, single-cell organism in soil samples from Mars, which they name Calvin. As the scientists study Calvin, it starts to grow and change. The astronauts realize that Calvin is smarter and stronger than they thought, and it might be dangerous. The movie then focuses on the astronauts trying to keep Calvin contained and prevent it from harming them or the space station. They also worry about what might happen if Calvin ever reaches Earth. The astronauts use their skills and the tools on the space station to deal with this unexpected situation. They face many challenges as they try to understand Calvin and figure out what to do. The movie shows life on a space station and how astronauts might handle a crisis in space. It mixes science fiction ideas with suspense as the situation with Calvin gets more complicated. The main question is whether the astronauts can keep Calvin from causing harm and protect both themselves and Earth.
Hello? Anybody here?
Hello?
Passengers is set in the future on a spaceship called the Avalon, which is taking 5,000 people to a new planet called Homestead 2. Since the trip takes 120 years, everyone on board is in a deep sleep inside special pods. One passenger, Jim Preston, wakes up 90 years too early. He tries to figure out why he woke up and how to go back to sleep, but he can't. For a long time, he is alone on the ship with only a robot bartender named Arthur to talk to. Later, another passenger, Aurora Lane, wakes up too. Together, they try to understand why they woke up and how to survive on the ship, knowing they'll never reach the new planet. They begin to enjoy life on the Avalon, but then things start going wrong with the ship. Jim and Aurora must figure out what's causing the problems and try to fix them to save themselves and the sleeping passengers. The movie is about space travel, loneliness, and problem-solving in unexpected situations.
I can't believe I'm here. This is incredible.
Europa Report is a sci-fi movie from 2013 about a space mission to Jupiter's moon Europa. It's shown like a documentary, using footage from the spacecraft's cameras. The story follows a team of astronauts sent to look for signs of life on Europa. We see them launch from Earth and travel through space for months. The crew faces different challenges during the long journey. When they finally reach Europa, they have to land on its icy surface and start exploring. They drill through the ice to study what's underneath. The movie shows their day-to-day life on the spacecraft and on Europa's surface. It focuses on the scientific parts of the mission and how the crew works together. There are some tense moments as they deal with problems and the harsh environment. The film tries to be realistic about what a space mission like this might be like. It talks about the importance of the search for alien life and what we might find on other planets or moons. The movie keeps you guessing about what the crew will discover on Europa.
Hey, sit down!
Did we take
No, hey, sit down.
We took off.
Sit down or you're gonna pass out. Commander!
Take off.
Commander!
Stowaway is a sci-fi movie about a space mission to Mars. The story follows a crew of 3 people: a commander, a medical researcher, and a biologist. They start their 2-year journey to Mars in a small spacecraft. Soon after takeoff, they find a man who accidentally got trapped on board. He's a launch support engineer who was knocked out during preparations. Now they have an extra person on a ship designed for only 3. This causes big problems. They don't have enough food, oxygen, or fuel for 4 people. The crew tries to figure out what to do. They talk to mission control on Earth, but there's no easy solution. As they get farther from Earth, they have to make hard choices. They look at different ways to save oxygen and make the trip work for everyone. The movie shows how they deal with this unexpected situation in space. It focuses on how the crew members work together and try to solve problems. There are some tense moments as they face the challenges of space travel and their limited resources. The film explores questions about survival, teamwork, and making tough decisions when lives are at stake.
There's a chance that because of you, the Formix might leave us alone forever.
Ender's Game is a sci-fi movie set in the future. Earth was attacked by aliens called Formix, and now humans are preparing for another possible attack. The story focuses on a young boy named Ender Wiggin. He's really smart and good at strategy games. Because of this, he's chosen to join a special military school in space. At the school, kids train to become commanders who can fight the aliens. Ender goes through different levels of training. He learns to fight in zero gravity and leads teams in battle simulations. These are like big video games where the kids control small ships. Ender is really good at these games and moves up quickly. He makes some friends and some enemies along the way. The adults in charge, especially Colonel Graff, watch Ender closely. They think he might be the leader they need to win against the Formix. As Ender gets better, the challenges get harder. He has to learn to be a good leader and make tough decisions. The movie shows how Ender grows and changes during his training. It also looks at questions about war, leadership, and doing what's right.
I do what I do because of my dad.
He was a hero.
Ad Astra is a movie set in the future about an astronaut named Roy McBride. The story starts when strange power surges from space begin to threaten Earth. These surges might be connected to a mission called the Lima Project, which was led by Roy's father many years ago. Roy's father disappeared during that mission near Neptune. Now Space Command asks Roy to go on a special trip to try to contact his father and stop the surges. Roy's journey takes him first to the Moon, then to Mars, and finally to Neptune. At each stop, he faces different challenges and learns more about what might have happened to his father's mission. The movie shows what space travel and life on other planets might be like in the future. It also looks at how people might live and work in space. As Roy travels further from Earth, he has to deal with the dangers of space and his own thoughts about his father. The film is about space exploration, the relationship between a father and son, and how people handle being alone in space. It asks questions about why we explore space and what it means to make connections with other people.
At its core, it's a social experiment designed to test the psychological effects of deep space travel.
400 Days is a movie about 4 astronauts who take part in a special training mission. The goal is to see how well they can handle being in space for a long time. The astronauts are put in an underground bunker that looks like a spaceship. They're supposed to stay there for 400 days, acting like they're on a real mission to another planet. The team includes Theo, the captain, Emily, Dvorak, and Bug. At first, things go as planned. The astronauts do their daily tasks and try to act like they're really in space. But as time goes on, strange things start to happen. The team begins to have trouble telling what's real and what's not. They're not sure if the odd events are part of the training or if something has gone wrong. When they finally leave the bunker, the world outside seems very different from what they remember. The astronauts have to figure out what's really going on and if their mission was what they thought it was. The movie explores how people react when they're isolated for a long time and how it affects their minds. It also looks at the line between what's real and what people imagine when they're in unusual situations.
Do not open your bay doors. You're okay, you're okay.
The Last Days on Mars is a movie about a group of astronauts on the first manned mission to Mars. The story takes place as their 6-month mission is coming to an end. The team of 8 astronauts and scientists has been collecting samples and doing research on the Red Planet. They're just hours away from returning to their spacecraft and heading back to Earth. But then one of the crew members thinks he's found evidence of life on Mars. He wants to check it out before they leave. This leads to a series of events that put the whole crew in danger. The astronauts have to deal with harsh Martian conditions like dust storms and the planet's thin atmosphere. They also face problems with their equipment and supplies. As they try to figure out what's happening, they realize that their discovery might be more dangerous than they thought. The movie shows how the crew tries to survive on Mars and complete their mission. It mixes elements of science fiction and suspense as the astronauts face unexpected challenges. The main questions in the movie are about what the crew has really found on Mars and whether they'll be able to make it back to Earth safely.
You're a well-educated man, Coop, and a trained pilot.
And an engineer.
The world doesn't need any more engineers.
Interstellar is a movie set in the future when Earth is becoming hard to live on because of dust storms and failing crops. The main character, Cooper, is a former NASA pilot who now works as a farmer. He lives with his 2 kids and his father-in-law. One day, Cooper and his daughter Murphy find a secret NASA base. There, they learn about a plan to save humanity by finding a new planet to live on. A wormhole has appeared near Saturn, which might lead to possible new homes. Cooper is asked to pilot a spaceship through this wormhole to check out some planets that might work for humans. He agrees to go, even though it means leaving his family. The movie then follows 2 stories: Cooper and his team exploring space and looking for new planets, and what's happening back on Earth as time passes. In space, Cooper and the other astronauts face many challenges as they try to complete their mission. On Earth, Murphy grows up and works to solve a big problem that could help save everyone. The movie talks about space travel, time, and gravity in ways that can be hard to understand sometimes. It's about exploring space, but also about the connections between people, especially families.
Well, that's it for today, buddy. I hope you enjoyed our picks. If you didn't find your next favorite movie here, don't worry, it's time to click this video, and I'll see you there. I'm Pomode from Filmflix. Thanks for watching today's video. Peace out.
I don't wanna go to work cause my boss is a jerk and I'm not even that paid. I need a change in my life cause I don't feel alive and there's nothing that makes me happy. Hold my beer for a minute.